Today, I suppose it's time to take a good look at President Vladimir Putin, the man frozen in time in the fridge like Betty Boop on a bad day. You belong to me, boop boop doo ooh. A leader whose ambitions have led to 3 years of catastrophic miscalculations in Ukraine, and Donald Trump, whose bold claims of ending the war in 24 hours now ring hollow as we hit day 5 or day 6, I can't remember, of his presidency. Despite the penchant for bravado, Trump's tactics have already caused ripples, leaving Putin scrambling for control, an image in tatters. So, we may not have a conclusion of the war in Ukraine, but we've certainly got the first starts of that. From that point of view, Trump is perhaps not as much a flatulent gust of wind in the stratosphere, but he is achieving something. There's a groan, a rumbling through Russia, and the invasion of Ukraine was supposed to cement Putin's reputation as a modern czar. Instead, it's reduced his country to an international pariah status. It's reduced him to a freezing wreck in the freezer section of the Smeg fridge, like a lollipop that's that's sort of losing its shape next to the Smedley HP frozen peas. Let's consider the numbers. Over 1 million casualties, billions in lost military equipment, humiliation on a global stage. And more painfully, Ukraine controls significant Russian territory in the Kursk region, a testament to Moscow's failure. Moscow actually controls less territory now than it did, 3-4 years ago. The Kursk campaign, designed to retake this land, has been an abject disaster, much like the campaign to retake or to take the Donbass. Russia hasn't managed it, with casualty rates nearing 80% and thousands of troops lost. Ukraine's mastery of modern warfare is development of modern warfare, of drones, precision strikes, layered defences, as well as the resilience of a people that is determined not to be conquered, has made a mockery of Russia's brute force tactics and its meat grinder warfare. Even more humiliating, Ukraine's success has echoed the strategies of Finland during the Winter War, where an underestimated adversary used ingenuity to embarrass a supposed superpower. Enter Donald Trump, a president unshackled from convention, with his threats of massive tariffs and additional sanctions might sound theatrical and absurd, because they are. But their impact is real. His nominee for Treasury Secretary has openly discussed targeting Russia's oil majors, a step Joe Biden hesitated to take. Trump's daily pronouncements from calling Putin's bluff on Fox News to issuing ultimata on Truth Social are designed to shake Moscow's confidence. But Trump's threats reveal a stark reality for Russia. There's little left to sanction. The US has already decimated key sectors of the Russian economy, and further action would only worsen the situation. Still, the rhetoric alone has set Russian state media and military bloggers ablaze, and Trump's swagger, declaring himself the master of planet Earth, may provoke laughter in Washington, but it's creating panic in Moscow. Putin's reliance on allies like North Korea underscores his desperation. His partnership with Kim Jong-un, forged through the North Korea-Russian Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty, brought a poorly trained, malnourished troop set to Kursk, and these soldiers, plagued by language barriers and logistical chaos, believing that they're simply on a training mission, have been cannon fodder in Ukraine's layered defences. And this spectacle isn't just a military failure, it's a propaganda disaster. Russia's pro-war influencers are struggling to spin this catastrophe. Claims that Ukrainian forces deployed tens of thousands of troops in Kursk are easily disproved, exposing the Kremlin's narrative as hollow. Meanwhile, the deaths of North Korean troops, the surrender of North Korean troops in significant numbers, have only deepened the humiliation. While Putin clings to outdated tactics, Ukraine's strategic counter-offensives continue to reshape the battlefield. By capturing key territory and holding Russian land as leverage, Ukraine is following Finland's example. Make the war so costly that the aggressor has no choice but to negotiate. Ukraine's bold push into Kursk, with 1,000 troops supported by advanced Western weaponry, has exposed the fragility of Russian defences, and Trump's presence complicates the picture. His insistence on a quick resolution could pressure Ukraine into accepting compromise, but it might otherwise reject. Yet Kyiv's leaders understand the stakes. Without US support, Ukraine's position would weaken dramatically, making its territorial gains all the more critical as bargaining chips in any peace talks. And Putin's obsession with reclaiming territory is eroding his credibility. His failure to adapt mirrors Stalin's humiliation in the Winter War. Every Ukrainian victory chips away at Russia's veneer of military dominance, exposing its vulnerabilities to the world. Trump's antics, whether effective or not, have forced Putin to confront an uncomfortable truth. His leadership is faltering, and his once iron grip is slipping. The longer this war drags on, the more isolated and desperate he becomes. And Vladimir Putin began this war by envisaging himself as a grand architect of Russian expansion. Instead, he's becoming a tragic figure, a leader admired in his own hubris, locked in his own fridge. Donald Trump, for all his bombast, has added a new layer of unpredictability, unsettling Moscow and bolstering Kyiv's leverage. And as this war enters its 4th year, the stakes are as high as ever. History will remember this moment as a battle not just for land, but for the survival of nations and the reputations of their leaders. And if Putin continues down this current path, his legacy will be one of defeat, desperation, and decline.